How you doing, Alontae? Hey, what are you, I guess, personally taking into the buy and that you want to improve on coming out of the buy?
Really just understanding my responsibility a little bit more. And just kind of taking care of my body. I feel like I kind of throw my body around these past 3 weeks for sure. So that, and then just kind of getting my mental right for myself. Going home, seeing family, seeing my nieces and my sisters. So I think that kind of restart button is going to be good for me. And then be ready to come back on Monday.
I think we asked you this after the mini buy too, but I guess even more so with the buy. Does this team kind of need to reset and decompress?
I think it's helpful. I feel like, we were on that 2 game winning streak, and I think guys kind of in that mini bottle we had before, guys kind of reset it then. But I think this is really big and it's coming at the right time. Kind of being 5-5 and still leading the division, but understanding that, that's an average I guess win loss column for us right now. So it came at the perfect time for us. And I think, coming back against Atlanta is huge. And so everybody's going to take this time to really look at themselves in the mirror and see what they can improve on, players and coaches.
Alontae, when you reviewed that game, what do you think caused so much problems with TJ Hockenson? You guys had generally been really good against tight ends up until the last couple of weeks.
Um, I feel like we were doing good early on, in my opinion. I think he kind of started to get on a roll, and then when that happened, I feel like we just didn't execute to the best of our abilities. And again, I feel like they kind of knew certain calls that we were in, and they ran the beaters to those calls, and that's where his success really came from. I don't think he just beat us just off of just his ability. I feel like we kind of beat ourselves. But early on, I feel like we were doing our job there, and I feel like he's seen that as well. So just got to do better at executing our job and executing what the play call is, and then just let our athletic ability take over from there.
I know the defense takes a lot of pride and probably even a year or two before you arrived and kind of saying, we want to be the driving force of this team. So how frustrating it is this particular stretch where you haven't been able to set the tone in these last 4 or 5 games.
Really frustrating. We haven't started off the way that we know that we should and are capable of. Um, Not sure exactly what the answer to that would be. I feel like we just got to come out and just execute a little bit better than what we have been doing, and understand that, those guys get paid just as well as we do. So they're going to come with their best hands, and we have to be able to come with our best hands and be consistent with that. And I think consistency is the thing that we need to work on. But it's frustrating because we know what we can do and we have a fast start. I think early on we had fast starts, but we weren't having the best second halves, and now we're having better second halves and not good starts. But we have to be able to put a full game together, and that's where we feel like guys need to look in the mirror and see what we can do to improve that, and then come in on Monday and just attack that. I mean, we have 9 games left, and it's enough. It's enough games and enough football to be played that we can still do some special things with this group of guys.
Hey, Alontae, sorry if this is a repeat question for you, but you mentioned, the slow starts, but then the kind of picking it up in the second half. What would you kind of contribute uh the ability to rebound in the second half and kind of find your stride? What would you say is the bottom line for why that's been the case?
I really don't know. I feel like when I look at it from tape, and then kind of like what we do in the locker room at halftime, I don't think a lot of stuff changes. I feel like we go out there with the same intensity, we go out there with the same energy. I think maybe more of like a mental thing. We might execute our jobs a little bit better. I feel like sometimes guys just have to figure out what helps them play better, right? So some guys can be super turned up and super hyped up and go into a game and play a great game. Some guys they can't be too high and they can't be too low. And I would say I'm one of those guys that has to be like exactly in the middle. If I'm too high, then I might overthink too much and I might not do my job like the right way, and I might see too much. And so I think everyone just has to figure out what it is that in that second half, like whatever their mentality is, whatever their mental is at that point, like maybe that needs to be the mental going into the first play of the game. and just figuring out, what allows them to execute the game plan to the best of their ability. And I think that's the biggest thing, because you look at it and you look at the tape and we're not executing. That's really what it comes down to. Like, we're beating ourselves in that first half, and in the second half we calm down, we regroup, and we come out and we start to execute, and we do our job the way it's supposed to be done, and then you see the success. So whatever it is that we need to figure out that allows us to mentally lock in and mentally focus, and not focus too much to where you're focusing so much that you're making mistakes. So you have to figure out that balance. You have to balance the two. And I think that's what we need to do going into the second half of the season, is figure out what that is and attack it that way, and just stay true to that.
When you say issues with execution and things like that, I know that DA pointed out getting eyes in the right place at one point last night. What are some of the kind of specific things that you would categorize as where those execution errors have been there, or challenges have been there? Excuse me.
I mean, teams scheme us up and they know that we're an aggressive defense. So, we see one thing and we kind of just go and get it right away. And, going into this week, we understood the game plan, and we understood there was going to be a lot of boots and a lot of motions and things like that, which teams do that to get aggressive defenses to put their eyes in the wrong place. And so when you do that and you try to see too much, or you try to attack too quick, it hurts you. And I think in the second half, we had better eyes, and guys understood, okay, when boots come, we need to put our eyes here and put our eyes there. But then again, like I said, like, you get hyped up. You're so excited for the game. You just want to go out there and make plays. You want to get a stop right away. All that stuff's going on, but then you might slack a little bit with the eye discipline. And we always say, if you look right, you'll do right. And it's true. And as our eyes got better throughout the game, we started to be in the right places at the right time as well. So it's just one of those things you have to continue to work on. And when you know that that's what they're going to do, you have to be able to go out there and not allow those things to beat you. It's kind of crazy that we say, like, this is what they're going to do to beat us, and then we allow them to do those things. And that's where they had success in the first half.
Hey, Alontae, I know you said you want to use this break to get your kind of your body back. I don't know if you got asked this yesterday or not. Did you kind of strain your back, or something happened yesterday in the game?
I just had a little back spasm from that play. My body was just kind of awkward a little bit, but it went away and I was fine. So yeah, I'm good.
Is that something you can, treat, get, in during this break, or it just was a fluky thing?
I mean, I'll treat it. I think you can always treat your body. We always do maintenance as well. So I'll do some treatment on it. And hopefully that it doesn't come back, but I'm not just gonna not do anything for it. I'm gonna do something, and just as long as also with my legs and other things like that I'm gonna make sure I stay on top of, because it's all gonna matter, and I'm gonna need my body just like everyone else is gonna need theirs as we go into this last 9 games.
Anything else for Alontae?
Yeah, I've got one real quick. Would you say that penalties are a concern generally, or do you just feel like that was one game where they were calling it a certain way and it was a high number?
I think this is the way we play defense. I feel like the Chicago game, the refs kind of let us play it a little bit, right? And we're just a physical defense, and we always kind of say that's what comes with the price of doing business, is sometimes that penalties will be called because maybe we're being too handsy. But then again, it also goes with having good eyes. I mean, you put your eyes in the wrong place, then now you want to reach and grab, or put your eyes in the wrong place and now you're holding somebody. So I think that we can improve on that by putting our eyes in the right place so that we don't have as many penalties. But with the style of defense that we play, as far as outside corner and a nickel and at the safety position, we're so physical and we're all hands on, and sometimes calls will be made and you don't have to like them, but if they're called, then they hurt the team. And so going back to just having better eyes and footwork and technique, and those are things that we can focus on this bye week and focus on throughout the week of practice.